Tonight, we opened 3 packages, each one sealed, each one containing a perfect crime, and the thing that was waiting inside all along. From Black Magic number 15, 1954. Norman had it all planned. A wife who looked exactly like the one he was about to bury, an axe, a backyard, and a one-way ticket to New York. All he had to do was dig the hole and never look back. In each and every package, Norman moved through the upstairs hallway towards the bedroom. When he reached the doorway, he stopped. He stared grimly at Bertha, his wife. She was humming softly as she packed her clothes into the open suitcase on the bed. Norman shuddered. The time had come. The weeks of hoping and planning were almost over now. Sally was in New York, waiting for him. She'd finished with her part of the scheme. Now it was up to Norman to complete his. He gripped the axe he held behind his back tightly and stepped into the bedroom. You know, dear, I never did find that nice picture of me that used to be on the bureau. Not that I want to take it with me on our trip, you understand, but I'd like to be here when we get back. Oh, it'll be here, Bertha, when I come back. Bertha turned to her husband, smiling. You made a mistake, dear. You meant when we come back. I said when I come back, Bertha. You're not coming back. You're not even going to New York. Bertha looked at her husband and saw the angry fire in his eyes and a grim expression around his tight-lipped mouth, and her blood ran cold as Norman dropped the axe from behind his back. Norman, Norman, what are you going to do? I'm going to kill you, Bertha. Sally and I have planned this all so carefully. Bertha backed off, whimpering. Sally? Yes, my dear, Sally. She's going to take your place. She's waiting for me now in New York. I don't understand, Norman. How could she take my place? It's very simple, Bertha. Where do you think that nice portrait of you disappeared to? You? I took it, yes. I gave it to Sally. She went to New York to a plastic surgeon. He operated on her. He made her look just like you. Norman giggled idiotically, advancing toward her. When we get back from our vacation, no one will know the difference. They'll comment on how well I look and how much weight you've lost. You see, Sally isn't a fat slob like you. You want to know how I met Sally? Don't, Norman, please, have pity. He stood over Bertha, grinning down at her. Sally came into the office, looking for work one day. I told her there were no openings, and she started to cry. Norman, I beg of you. Norman raised the axe. The poor thing, she'd been living on coffee and donuts for weeks. She'd been an actress, and the road company she'd been with had been disbanded, leaving her stranded. Norman, but please! High over his head, the axe hesitated, wavering. Her acting ability, Bertha, that's what's going to be so helpful when she takes your place. So, you know, she studied your voice for weeks. I made recordings. Norm, stop. Bertha squealed as Norman brought the axe down. The singing of steel and the thud of razor-sharp metal against flesh cut the squeal short. Like I said, Bertha, Sally and I planned this carefully. Norman looked down at his wife lying on the bedroom floor with the blood oozing from the deep gash he'd opened in her skull. We fell in love, Bertha, just like that. When I'd heard she'd not eaten a decent meal in weeks, I took her out to dinner. He raised the axe again, then looked at the blood dripping onto the scatter rug. He shook his head. He put down the axe and dragged the body into the bathroom. Tile floors are so much easier to clean than rugs, aren't they, Bertha? Now, where was I? Oh, yes. He dropped the body on the tile floor and went back for the axe, smiling happily. Yes, that day, in that little restaurant where I took her, Sally and I fell in love. He returned to the bathroom and knelt down over the body, raising the axe. And all those nights when you thought I was working late or out with the boys or walking, I was seeing Sally. He brought the axe down savagely, again and again, hacking, severing, dismembering. I knew you'd never give me a divorce. I knew it, and I told Sally it was hopeless. He stood up and wiped the perspiration from his brow, smearing his forehead scarlet. And then we thought of this plan of getting rid of you so that Sally could take your place. He stumbled down the stairs, muttering. My vacation was coming up. It would be so simple. Neighbors, relatives, everyone would think I'd taken you away to New York. He opened the kitchen cabinet where Bertha always kept the brown wrapping paper. and no one would ever suspect that I dismembered you and wrapped each section up carefully. He brought the wrapping paper back upstairs to the bathroom and buried them in the backyard. Then, in the darkness, Norman carried out one crude blood-stained brown paper package at a time and dug a small, shallow hole in the backyard. So Sally studied your voice from secret recordings I made. One after the other, through the night, he buried the grisly parcels around the yard, patting back the sod smoothly. Steve watched you from afar, studied your mannerisms, your walk, your every movement. Finally, his packages interred, he carefully scrubbed the bathroom clean of the blood stains. And finally, last month, I took the portrait from its place on the bureau and gave it to Sally, and she went to New York to a plastic surgeon. Returned the axe to its place in the cellar toolbox. Last night, Sally called me. She said everything was ready. They'd removed the bandages. We were all set, so... and burned the scatter rug in the furnace. When we get back from my vacation, Sally and I will live here as man and wife. She will be you, Bertha. Then he put Bertha's suitcase into the trunk of the car. And no one will ever know that the real you lies buried in neat little packages beneath our backyard. He took a final tour through the house, checking. We said our goodbyes. Everyone knows we were to leave early this morning. He turned out all the lights, locked the front door, and even remembered to place the note for the milkman that Bertha had written earlier in the empty bottle on the back step. Next stop, New York, and my new wife, my new Bertha, Sally, with Bertha's old face, but with her own body. He opened the garage doors and slid onto the seat beside the department store mannequin he dressed in Bertha's clothes. In case any nosy neighbors are up this time of night and see us leave. He backed the car out of the garage, stopped, got out, closed the garage doors, locked them, did one last look at the empty dark house. Goodbye, Bertha. He roared off into the coming dawn. I'm coming, Sally. It's done. I'm coming. Sally met Norman at a predetermined spot in the New York City suburbs. Norman, dearest! Good Lord, Sally, you look just like her. He did an excellent job, don't you think? Baby, we'll be able to carry this off with no trouble at all. They drove into the city. Sally snuggled against Norman. Was it terrible, Norman? I mean, killing her like that? It was alright. I kept thinking of you, and that gave me the strength. They stopped at a luxurious hotel. You have a reservation for Mr. and Mrs. Norman Kraken? Oh, yes, Mr. Kraken. Just sign here. 8 in the best restaurants. Will that be all, Monsieur? Yes, thank you, and our compliments to the chef. Saw the sights. The Empire State Building. You can see the whole city from up here, Norman. Look, there's the Palisades, and that's Central Park. We're 102 floors above 5th Avenue. Radio City. This is where all the big radio and TV studios are. Look, Norman, free tickets. We can see a broadcast. The girl behind the guest relations desk looked up as Norman and Sally approached. Yes, what can I do for you? We're from out of town, and would like to see a radio and TV show if we could. Of course. Your name, please, and address? Mr. and Mrs. Norman Kraken, 205 Pine Street, Little Falls, Ohio. The girl handed Norman 2 tickets. Here you are, Mr. and Mrs. Kraken, and have a pleasant stay in New York. Thank you very much. What show are they for, Norman? It's a premiere of a new show, quiz show called Treasure Hunt, tonight at 8:30. Oh, good. Maybe we'll get on it and win some money. Oh, forget about that. Only friends of the sponsors or the MCs get on those shows. That night at 8:15, Norman and Sally arrived at the studio and took their seats. Okay, folks, we got 15 minutes till airtime, so we'd like to pick out our contestants. Will Mr. and Mrs. Kraken please step up? Norman, that's us. The MC called out other names, and then our guest relations bureau supplied us with your names, folks. You see, we like to pick contestants from out of town. How do you do? I'm Bird Collie, your MC. Now, the idea of Treasure Hunt is very simple. I ask you questions, you answer them. If you answer them all correctly, you become eligible for the treasure hunt, okay? Before Norman and Sally realized that the program was on the air and the first contestants were standing before the microphone. Oh, I'm sorry, folks, that's the wrong answer. But for appearing on Treasure Hunt, we present you with Step Up, Mr. and Mrs. Kraken, you're next. And now Norman and Sally were standing there answering questions. Correct! And now for the Treasure Hunt question. Listen, because we'll allow one answer and one answer only. What were the names of Columbus's 3 ships? Oh, the Santa Maria, The Nina and the Pinta. Correct. Absolutely correct. Mr. and Mrs. Kraken, you have answered the treasure hunt question correctly, and you are now eligible to start your treasure hunt. Lulu, how much is the treasure worth? $3,000, Bert. Oh dear. You hear that, folks? $3,000. That's what your treasure is worth. And now, did you want to know where your treasure is? Well, all you have to do is go back to, let's see, Little Falls, Ohio, and dig it up. Because right at this very moment, a field team from this program is burying your treasure in your own backyard. $3,000. Norman felt his blood run cold. Sally paled to ashen white except around the bruises remaining from her plastic surgery operation. They looked at each other. What's the matter, folks? Aren't you happy? Right at this moment, they're burying $3,000 in your backyard. You should be happy. They looked around. There was no place to run, no place to hide. And then, somewhere backstage, the telephone began to ring. Every week, the same routine. Visit the old woman, withdraw her money, keep a little for himself. No one would ever notice. Until the day the routine stopped. And the real surprise was waiting in the will. Monotony. Exactly as he had done every morning for the past 14 years, Milton Gans sighed, pushed open the door to the bank employee's entrance, noted that, as always, it was precisely 2 minutes to 9 on the cold-faced wall clock, strode to his little cubicle behind the railing, hung up his hat, coat, and umbrella on the rack beside his desk, tore off the previous day's page from his desk calendar, dusted off the well-worn swivel chair with his immaculate handkerchief, sharpened his tray full of pencils to needlepoint, and sat down. Yes, this was the ritual. Every day for the past 14 years, Milton had performed it. Now he sat stiffly, waiting for the wall clock to chime, waiting for grim-faced old Charlie, the venerable bank guard, to shuffle across the bank lobby and unlock the massive bronze doors, opening the floodgates to the hordes of form filler outers and complainers and mortgage delinquents and, "Oh, Mr. Gans, will you step in here, please?" "Huh? Oh, yes, Mr. Trumbull. Yes, sir." What was this? Something new, something strange, something different. Some unfamiliar action exploding the monotony that Milton had grown to hate. Milton arose nervously and tiptoed across the silent lobby, feeling all eyes upon him. You wanted to see me, Mr. Trumbull? I dislike taking you away from your desk, Mr. Gans, but something has come up that requires the bank's immediate attention. Mrs. Courtwright just called. She wishes to make a withdrawal. Milton shrugged. I don't understand, Mr. Trumbull. If Miss Courtwright wishes to make a withdrawal, why didn't she drop into the bank and make it? Miss Courtwright is our largest depositor, Mr. Gans. She has an account of over $125,000 with us. Miss Courtwright is very old. She never leaves the house. Up to this time, I have been personally servicing Mrs. Cartwright's account, Gans, but lately, well, frankly, I just can't stand the old crab. She gets on my nerves. So today, if you don't mind, just as a favor to me, of course, Mr. Trumbull, if you'll just tell me what to do. Every week or so, the old bat calls in and wants to make a withdrawal for $40 or $50, enough for groceries, I guess. All I do is remove her record card from the file, enter the withdrawal, fill out a withdrawal slip, and take it, together with the money, to her home. At her home, I give her the money, have her sign the withdrawal slip, and enter the withdrawal in her bank book. Sounds simple enough, Mr. Trumbull. It is, Gans. Everything would be very painless if it weren't for Miss Courtwright. Oh well. You'll see for yourself. Here's her account number. She wants $50 this week, and here's her address. And good luck. Thank you, Mr. Trumbull. Milton closes the door in Mr. Trumbull's office behind him and surveyed the bustling bank lobby. A line had already formed at the gate behind which his and Miss Cregan's desk stood. Miss Cregan looked up at him. She was very annoyed. Mr. Gans, I can't possibly service all these people. You'll have to, Miss Cregan. I have other things to do. Miss Cregan glared after him as Milton stepped behind the teller's cages and slid out the file drawer containing Miss Courtwright's account card. What's up, Gans? Miss Courtwright wants to make a withdrawal. Let me have $50, will you? I'll give the signed withdrawal slip when I return. The teller counted out 5 $10 bills. I know the routine, Gans. Here you are. Want me to enter it on her card for you? I'd appreciate it, Mr. Dillon. Mr. Dillon placed Mrs. Courtwright's card in the machine, pushed studs, flicked the lever, and handed it back to Milton. Isn't it a shame, Gans? The old gal's balance has dwindled down to a mere $128,356.10. A pity, Mr. Dillon. Milton returned to his cubicle, put on his hat and coat, took his umbrella, and strode across the lobby and out of the bank. Well, at least something different. Something to break the monotony. Miss Cartwright's house was one of those old brownstone houses that had once been considered very fashionable and a sure sign of wealth. In recent years, most of them had converted into duplex apartments. Miss Cartwright had stubbornly held on to hers. Yes, who are you? What do you want? Speak up! Speak up! Don't just stand there. From the bank, Miss Cartwright. Have your money. Miss Cartwright was a wrinkled old thing with beady eyes and a grim, tight-lipped mouth. Studied Milton for a moment, looking him over from head to toe. What happened to old Thrumble? Getting lazy in his old age? Mr. Thrumble suffered a sprained ankle, Miss Cartwright, and walking causes him severe pain. Miss Cartwright motioned Milton in the library. Pah! Don't lie to me, young man. I know why Thrumble didn't come. He can't stand me. That is not true, Miss Cartwright. Miss Cartwright rapped her cane on the floor. Never mind. Give me the withdrawal slip and a pen. Here you are, Miss Cartwright. Miss Cartwright scrawled her name across the dotted line at the bottom of the withdrawal slip and handed it back to Milton. Now, the money. Yes, ma'am. Here you are. Milton turned to go. Miss Cartwright rapped her cane. Aren't you forgetting something, young man? Sign my bank book. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Milton subtracted $50 from the balance in Miss Cartwright's bank book and initialed the result. He handed the book back to the old lady. There you are, madam. It's been a pleasure to serve you. Good day. He smiled at the old lady and left. All the way back to the bank, Milton muttered to himself. What a pity. All that money wasted on such an old crow. Lord, what I wouldn't do with some of that. Thrumble was waiting for him when he returned. Miss Cartwright just called, gangs. She told me she never wants to see my ugly old puss again, that she wants that nice young man to come every week from now on. Oh, no! Thrumble grinned. Sorry, Gans, but Miss Cartwright is the bank's biggest depositor, so we must please her. Of course, Mr. Thrumble, as you say. Milton steamed as Mr. Thrumble crossed the lobby, laughing. He turned to Mr. Dillon. Here's your rotten withdrawal slip. I see you got a permanent job, Gans. Monotony set in again. The same tedious monotony from that day on. Whenever Miss Cartwright called, Milton would leave his desk, move her account card from the file, enter a withdrawal slip, take enough money, and go to her house. How do you do, Miss Cartwright? How are you today? Why bother asking, Mr. Gans? You're not really interested. Let's get the business over with. And every time Miss Cartwright would sign the withdrawal slip, Milton would give her the money and sign her bank book, and then, thank you, Miss Cartwright. It's been a pleasure for me to serve you. Keep well. Good day. One day, after Miss Cartwright called, Milton removed her account card from the file and, oh, Dillon, will you enter this for me? Enter it yourself. I'm going to lunch. Milton placed the account card in the machine, pressed studs, pulled the lever, and, oh, Lord, what have I done? I entered a withdrawal for $500,000 instead of $50. Suddenly, Milton saw an end to all this monotony, a way out. He stared at the huge balance. The 500 had made such a tiny dent. She'd never miss it, and I could return it, eventually. Milton grinned. It'd be so simple. Miss Cartwright never checked to see what was written on the withdrawal slip. All Milton had to do was enter a $50 withdrawal in her bank book and pocket the $450 difference. The account card should show the $500 withdrawal. The signed withdrawal slip would be its authorization, and Miss Cartwright would never know. Her record would show only a $50 withdrawal. 100, 200, 300, 400, 450, 460, 470, 480, 490, 550 for Miss Cartwright. 450 for Mr. Gaines. Milton counted out the $500 and made out the withdrawal slip. They'll be safe until Miss Cartwright comes into the bank or someone else services her account. That means no vacations for me, no days off. I gotta be here at all times to cover myself. Milton was as nervous as a cat when he went to see Miss Cartwright, but she signed the withdrawal slip as usual without even looking at it. There you are, Mr. Gans, and now that we've finished our business, may I offer you a cup of tea? No, thank you, Miss Cartwright. I really must return to the bank. That night, Milton ate in the most expensive restaurant he could find. After that, he went to 2 nightclubs. He had a wonderful time. This is the answer, all right. The answer to monotony. Hello, handsome. Mind if I join you? But $450 doesn't last very long, especially the way Milton spent it. By the following Friday, it was all gone. And so when Miss Courtright called for her 50, 700, 800, 950, 960, 980, 1,000. A year passed. Each week, Milton would go to see Miss Courtright. He would sit and talk to the old bat, sometimes have tea with her, and he'd give her a withdrawal slip to sign, a withdrawal slip for 500, 1,000, 2,000. Here you are, Mr. Gans. Now, what was I saying? You were telling me about your European tour back in 1929, Miss Courtright. And then he'd calmly enter a $50 withdrawal on her bank book, hand her the 50, and pocket the difference. There you are, Miss Courtright, and there is your money. Now I really must be going. Until next week, then, Mr. Gans. And with the money he'd pilfered from old Miss Cartwright's account, Milton led a wild and hectic life, bought lavish gifts for his female acquaintances, wined them, dined them, and altogether squandered almost $50,000. Then it happened. Mr. Thrimble called Milton into his office one morning and told him the horrifying news. Miss Courtright died last night, Mr. Gans. What? Oh, no! It was all over. Milton knew it. An accounting of Miss Courtright's estate would be made and the thefts would be discovered. Milton slipped out of the bank and hurried home to pack. I gotta get out of town. There was a knock on the door. Who's there? Open up, Gans. It's Mr. Thruple, and I have someone with me. A detective, no doubt. They'd come to arrest him. Milton looked around wildly. Meant jail for him. The horrible monotony beginning again. Humdrum prison existence. No, I won't let that happen. I couldn't stand it. Mr. Gans, open up in there. Milton stepped to the window. It was 9 stories down to the concrete courtyard below. Gans, are you going to open up? We want to talk to you about the Courtright estate. Milton jumped. His body dropped earthward like a limp rag, smashing into the concrete courtyard, splattering blood, crushing bone, ripping and tearing flesh. Mr. Thrimble and Miss Courtright's lawyer came downstairs and stood over Milton's corpse, shaking their heads. Now, why do you suppose Fool did that? And he had so much to live for. Imagine inheriting Miss Courtright's estate, including a bank account of almost $120,000. He certainly had grown very fond of him. A husband who spoke in bed, a wife who was tired of waiting, a lover who was ready to help, and a fire that was supposed to solve everything. They built their plan carefully, brick by brick. Cinder Block. Conrad guided his flashy cream-colored Cadillac into the dark, deserted street, pulled up at the curb, and cut the ignition switch. The powerful engine died, and the silence closed in thick and oppressive. Conrad reached for a cigarette, lit it up, looked at his watch. Everything was right on schedule. He rolled up the window beside him, pressed down the latch, locking the door, slid across the seat, and stepped out into the chill midnight air. Above, the stars pinpointed the winter night sky like faraway tiny diamonds in a jeweler's black velvet show car. The car door swung shut behind him, echoing up the empty street. He turned, inserting the key, locked it. Can't take chances. This buggy stands out like a sore thumb. It's safer for me to park a few blocks from the apartment house like this. After a final inspection to make sure that the windows were all shut and the car locked up securely, Conrad started off down the dimly lit street. He walked briskly, his clattering footsteps reverberating over the sleeping stone faces of the buildings. At the corner, he turned right. The neighborhood changed as he moved along. The empty loft buildings gave way to stores, then brownstones, and finally to Patricia's luxurious apartment building. Perfect. The doorman's going off to grab his usual midnight snack, just as we planned. Conrad stepped into the foyer. He slipped the key Patricia had given him into the front door lock and let himself into the lock. No one around. Good. Now the elevator. The elevator was up on 8. Conrad pressed the button and somewhere a motor began to hum. After a while, the elevator door slid open and he stepped inside. P for penthouse. Conrad pushed the floor indicator and the elevator door slid shut. He whistled softly as he whirled upward through the steel throat of the building. Humming stopped. The elevator came to rest. The door slid open and Conrad stepped out into an A-lush carpeted hallway with a lone door marked P. He rapped softly. The door swung open. Patricia stood there dressed in a soft negligee that clung to her curvaceous figure like a pink film. "Oh, Pat, baby." "Oh, Connie, I'm scared." He took her trembling body in his arms and kissed her full, red, quivering lips. She sighed and held him, pressing close. Everything's gonna be all right. Did you give him the stuff? He's in his room, out like a light. That's pretty potent stuff. The atom bomb can go off now and he won't hear it. I know. After I gave it to him, he started to get sleepy. He told me to go to my room as usual, but then he dozed off before he could come and lock me in. She led him into her husband's bedroom. See, he's got the key to my bedroom door in his hand. I'll get it. Don't touch it. We need his fingerprints on it. Conrad whipped out his handkerchief and carefully pried the key from her husband's hands with it. Then he rolled it up and slipped it into his pocket. All right, now give me one of his cigarettes. Here. He held out a cigarette she'd taken from the box on the night table. He took it and placed it between his lips. He struck a match, then flame licked the cigarette end, glowing it cherry red. You say he always smokes in bed? Lord, yes. He burned holes in more blankets and pillowcases. Why the insurance company canceled our policy because we made too many claims. Conrad puffed hard on the cigarette, pulling the orange glow down the white shaft. Good. That's what we want it to look like the fire started from smoking in bed. There, that ought to do it. Now, he placed the cigarette on the blanket beside her husband's face. He watched with wide, frightened eyes, her breath coming in little, short, choking sobs. Oh, Connie, do we have to do it this way? Can't we just run away together? Yeah, and then what will we live on? Love? They watched the smoke curl upward slowly. The blanket began to char, then glow red around the burning end of the cigarette. The stench of singed wool filled the room. But to kill him? Listen, baby, if you asked for a divorce, he'd cut you off without a cent. He stood beside her, watching the tiny flame look around the glowing hole now burned into the heavy blanket. And I like nice things. I like easy living. I like that car you gave me and these duds. What would he do to you if you found out about how you paid for those things? I don't know. He doesn't trust me as is. I mean, like locking me in my room every night. Go ahead, feel sorry for him now. Forget about how he treats you. Forget about me. Forget about how much I want you, how much I love you. Feel sorry for him. I can't help it. Oh, Connie, kiss me. The bed was afire now, the flames licking around the prostrate form of Tonic. He held her in his arms, his lips upon hers. You better get out of here now. It's going to get messy in a minute. Call the fire department. I'd better. The licking orange flames danced across the lamp. Shades ran wildly up the drapes, scampered across the rug, engulfed, consuming, turning the room into an oversized crematorium. Conrad grinned with satisfaction. Good. Now to finish up. Hello, operator, I want to report a fire, quickly. She was in her room, retching on her bed. He strode in and sat down beside her. I gotta go now. The engines will be coming soon and I don't want to be found here. I'm gonna lock you in. Yes, it's gotta look natural. He stood up. She looked up at him from her sprawled position on the bed. Is he dead yet? Probably. If he's not now, he will be, shortly. He pulled the handkerchief with the wrapped key from his pocket, unrolled it and slipped it into the bedroom door lock. Don't worry, baby. Some big handsome fireman will be chopping down this door before the flames even get near you. I hope so, Connie. He went out, locking the door behind him. He left the key in the lock and walked back to the other room. The body on the bed was charred black. The room was a blazing inferno. On the way down in the elevator, he went over the whole thing in his mind. The maid would testify that Pat's husband always locked her in her room at night. He was older than she and extremely jealous, why I often came in the morning and let her out. And the insurance company would help along with their statement. The man refused to take warning. He repeatedly smoked in bed. He paid the first few claims, but after a while we just canceled the policy. And Pat would go into her act. I smelled the smoke. I wanted to go to him, awaken him, but he locked me in. I screamed, but he didn't hear me. I pounded on the door, and then the fireman came, and it was too late. And then they'd be free. Free to marry, free to go wherever they wanted, free to spend the fortune they'd inherited. Happy, baby? He worked it out so carefully. The timing was perfect. The elevator door slid open. He stepped out. The doorman had still not returned. He hurried across the lobby and out of the building. He listened for a moment. Come on, fire engines. He could hear the siren screaming far off. Right on schedule. He looked up. He could see smoke pouring from the penthouse apartment, flames licking at the window of Pat's husband's room. Don't worry, baby, they'll be here in a minute. The siren wailed, far away like a crying child, lost among the man-made canyons, but no fire engine appeared. Blast you, where are you? The seconds ticked off. The minutes crawled by. Above in the night sky, a shriek echoed up in the stars. Pat, my God! Help me! Someone! She stood at the window, the glow behind her silhouetting her lovely body. Look! A woman! She's gonna jump! No! No! He screamed up at her. Pat, no! Don't jump! Listen! Hear them! They're on their way! They'll be here any minute! Wait! Wait! Don't jump! Another minute crawled past. The siren continued, not drawing close, not coming near. Oh, Lord! Come! Come! Eee! The shriek vibrated in the night again. This time it was a shriek of pain, a shriek of fear and terror. She's jumping! That's 11 floors up! Pat! No! My God! He ran toward her falling body, not thinking, not reasoning, wanting to only stop her fall, protect her from crushing concrete towards which she hurled. Come back, you fool! You can't catch her! She'll kill you too! Pat! The impact, body slamming against body, snapping bone, rupturing blood vessels, the pain, the horrible pain. Pat was dead. Conrad lay with a broken spine, sinking into oblivion after her. The fire engine finally screeched up nearby. Hey! What kept you guys? Some darn fool left his snazzy cream-colored Cadillac parked square in front of the firehouse. Couldn't get out. Locked up tight in a drum. Had to smash the windows and push her. Would have been here 5 minutes ago. 3 packages, 3 perfect plans, and in each and every one, something was already waiting. This has been in each and every package on SO Tonight. Felix Lebeski. Like, comment, subscribe. Good night.